Welcome to the It's Your Time podcast, the podcast where busy professionals like you get the practical solutions and support you need to gain control of your schedule so you can strive to be the best in your career, but without the stress and overwhelm. If you're looking to increase your energy and decrease your stress, you are in the right place. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. Okay, this is a special edition episode. I recently held a class where we talked about stress, overcoming stress, the holidays, your calendar, overwhelm, all of the fun stuff that comes up this time of year. And I wanted to share the replay with you here so you have the edited version. And I am looking for 8 people who are interested in joining my beta program. It is Thrive Without Burning Out. It will be 8 weeks. You can hear about it at the end of this class. If you go to michelleburkecoaching.com/thrive full or michelleburkecoaching.com/thrive plan. You can find more information. And of course, if you are on my email list, you can email me at any time. You know, I always say feel free to reach out on the socials. Go ahead, take a listen. I hope this helps. Without further ado, here you go. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. So whether you join us live or if you're watching on replay, I just want to say welcome. I am so excited that you're here. This is our first Sip It Saturday. So I have my coffee. It's a Burke thing. Probably like my second coffee and multiple points of caffeine. So I am going to go ahead and dive in and just set some intention, give you a little idea of the agenda today. And I really wanted to also just offer some background on this because I think it's so important that we get this information out, especially during the holidays when so many women are overwhelmed. There is a lot to do during the holiday season, and it can be quite overwhelming. And so I just want to offer this as an opportunity for you to maybe take a little something that helps you throughout the next 6, 8, I don't know, lifetime, right? It can really be life-changing. So here's the plan for today. We are going to have some fun, okay? We have our drink of choice. If you're watching on replay, I also want to encourage you to get a pen and paper. It does not have to be a fancy pen and paper. It is just something that allows you the opportunity to take pen to paper and write something. You can, of course, use your notes in your notes section of your phone. But there really is something to having like actual pen to paper connection that brings everything to the next level. So we're going to start with a little grounding exercise. And if you see me looking down here, I'm just checking out my notes. I didn't want to do a big slide presentation today. I just want to kind of come here, talk to you, and be able to, like I said, help at the end of the day. We will talk about stress and also about calendaring and schedules and how sometimes we feel like our calendar controls us. I know for the longest time, I got coached so hard myself on my work controls my life, my calendar controls my life. I have no control over my time. That was probably the thought that was running. And literally life-changing once I realized that was not the case. And so I want to share this with you because I want you to be able to feel more empowered in the decisions that you're making and trusting that you know the right answer. So even if you're watching this on a replay, I just want you to know that you can also send in questions, right? If as you're going through this and you're like, oh, I have a question about this, just send an email to the email that sent this to you, okay? It always comes down to me. It comes right back to me. So I will respond if you have any questions. Okay, so with that, I want us to just take a minute. And I want you to just get comfortable. And if you can, if you're in a safe spot, if you feel safe, close your eyes. Or maybe just put your gaze down. The truth is that we see best when we close our eyes because that's when we can see what is going on within ourselves. So just take a moment, either put your gaze down, close your eyes, and I want you to take 3 deep breaths all the way into your stomach. And then as you exhale, just release some of the old stories. Do that 2 more times. And I want you to remember that your focus is your frequency. And today, we are letting go of the old stories. We are expanding our perception. We are resetting our frequency with the joy, with the abundance that makes our life expansive. And remember, when we change our focus, we change our lives. And I want you to let yourself step into how you want to feel. And I want you to choose one state of being that you want to amplify. So it could be joy, it could be gratitude, it could be certainty, it could be freedom. And with every breath, let that feeling be your focus. And think of this as your energy field. Pay attention to how you feel in your heart, how you feel in your throat, how you feel in your limbs. And I want to remind you, this is all here right now. Just take a moment to sit in that feeling. And then let's take 3 more deep, glorious breaths. And remember to remember this feeling as the day goes on. Okay, so we can just take a moment, come back together, open your eyes. And now I just want you to take 1 minute to journal. And when you're journaling, I want you to just know that this is not being turned in. It is just you kind of writing what might have come up. And it doesn't have to be pretty. It can be like, what is she doing right now? This feels uncomfortable. I don't know what's happening. Just get it out of your brain. And it allows you to see the story. And it allows you the opportunity to be the witness, to know that we are not the stories that we tell all of the time, right? It is our ability to respond that gives us power in our lives. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to just watch for 1 minute. I will be quiet and I want you to write. Okay, that's our minute. We can all come back. And I also just want to point out, so often when I talk about meditating or taking time to yourself, I have folks tell me like, I don't have time to do that. Please just take a moment to notice we literally changed our state of being in about 5 minutes. It doesn't take that much time, and it really allows you the opportunity to set your intention for the day. I love, love, love having a morning routine, and this can be your morning routine. It can be as simple as just taking a moment to remember, to remember what feeling you want to feel each day and set that intention. Here's the thing. So often we're like chasing all the external goals and we think that we're going to feel a certain way once we get there. But the truth is, you just felt that right now. Like, why do we wait to feel that until we think we're going to accomplish something? And I will also point out, and I see this so clearly this year, there are goals that we set for ourselves that make us think that we're going to feel a certain way once we get to that goal. But then we just move the goalpost, right? So we start to go on to like, what is next? What is next? What is next? We don't even allow ourselves the opportunity to feel that feeling that we think we're going after we accomplish the goals that we want. So when you can step into that and feel that in advance, that's what will change your life. It's moving from those feelings instead of the stress and the overwhelm and the chaos and all of that. It's game changing. So let's talk about stress a little bit, and let's talk about burnout, and let's really label the problem here, because burnout does not come from doing too many of the things that we love, right? If we love it, then we're usually not saying that we're feeling burned out. Burnout happens when our schedule feels like it is running us, right? When we say things like, I don't have any time, or I know this just was a conversation I had recently with a colleague. It's the end of the day. I've been so busy. I've been running around doing all the things, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like I got anything done. Like, what did I actually accomplish? That happens when we think like everything is urgent. When everything is urgent, nothing is. It is on us to prioritize what's important. And that is sometimes where the work is, right? Because we think that we need to, again, we've been socialized as women to have the external validation. So we're always going after, like, trying to make sure everybody's happy, doing. And it's not always what feels like that feeling that we want to accomplish for ourselves. And so I just want to take a minute here. I'm going to look up a quote. My coach recently just shared this with us, and I think it is so fascinating when we talk about stress. Stress, I'm actually going to read this directly from her post. Kathy Heller, she's my coach. I love her. In fact, I'm going to be having a giveaway pretty soon with some of her paperback books that just came out on 11/11. So much fun. Abundant Ever After. It's a great book. Okay, so what she posted was, research shows that chronic stress isn't caused by work or money. It's caused by incongruence, the internal split between who you are and who you pretend to be. When your life doesn't match your truth, the body shifts into survival mode, pumping cortisol that weakens immunity, inflames the body, and fogs the brain. It's why people in places like Okinawa and Sardinia live so long, not because of diet, but because they live in harmony with themselves. And this is the sole point. Your body is designed for authenticity. The moment you stop abandoning yourself and return to your truth, your whole system unclenches, and life begins to organize around the frequency of your wholeness. And I would just say, like, that statement, your whole body unclenches, it's like so on point, right? Like, think about how you just felt doing that exercise. It's taking the deep breaths, it's taking a moment to just let go of all of the stories that no longer serve us and really step into probably the most important question you can ask yourself is, what do I want in this moment? It's a tough question, but it's one that you should ask yourself at least once a day. And why, right? Because we want to talk about having a schedule, having habits, have a routine that sets us up to have the life that we want, okay? I have a question. So when we're talking about time, what actually constitutes a day? It's not a trick question. It's just something that we have all agreed on, right? It's that we know it's the Earth's rotation, so it's 24 hours in a day. Time is all made up, okay? We know it's on the Earth's rotation, so that's the 24 hours a day on Earth. But do you know how long a day is? Let's say you go to Jupiter, which one day somebody probably will. Like, it's so crazy, right? When we think back to like all of the advances that we've made. If you're on Jupiter, a day is 9 hours and 56 minutes. And I want you to even think, right? We set the clocks back and we just say like, okay, so now instead of 1 o'clock in the morning, it's back to midnight. It's all made up. So when we tell ourselves, I don't have time, it's a lie. It just isn't very useful. And I know it can feel so true, but it doesn't help us feel empowered to live the life that we want. So you can just, when you catch yourself saying that, I don't have any time, just stop and just take a moment to think about what you're prioritizing. And it can be more of a question of, maybe you don't have time for that, right? And here's what I would really love is if you're talking, because I feel like self-care is the thing, right? Like I even recently was in a locker room where there was a mom talking about how like, I don't have any time for myself because of the kids. That's a choice. That's a choice. And that could be a very powerful choice if that's what you're looking for, right? But telling yourself that you don't have time, is not a feeling that usually leaves you powerful, right? That's where we start to feel overwhelmed when we tell ourselves I don't have time. And the other thought that kind of comes up is like, I have time and I don't know where to start. I have so many things to do. I don't know what to do. Take a minute, take 5 minutes and decide what is the priority for the day. And then at the end of the day, take a moment and remind yourself that this was the priority I set up for the day and this is what got done. So often we go to bed and we think about, I didn't do this. I shouldn't have said that. This is missing. And it's normal. This is what our brain will do. What I'm suggesting is that we want to engage in some neuroplasticity. We want to change the wiring of our thinking, and we want to be able to create from a different place moving forward. And so, what that looks like is at the end of the day, just giving yourself a little recognition for 3 things that you did. Or maybe it is just the one priority that you set and you did. Maybe it is just that you got out of freaking bed and you like got dressed and went to work, even though you didn't want to. It's changing the story. Remember, our brain is designed on a motivational triad to avoid pain, seek pleasure, and be as efficient as possible. So it is often a habit, right? When we talk about habits of any sort, whether it's exercise, whether it's your calendaring, it's our thinking. That is also a habit. And so we need to interrupt that pattern and decide what it is that we want to think on purpose. And that's when we start rewiring and changing our lives. Now, I also just want to take a moment before I get to some of the rest of these notes here, because I think this is so important, is that for years, and I still will talk about the importance of your thinking and your thoughts creating your feelings and your feelings creating your actions, and then your actions create your results, right? But there's a couple of levels of thinking. We have, if we think about an ocean, okay, I want you to think your first thought of an ocean is what? Like, usually it's the waves, right? The waves crashing and crashing and crashing. I would say that's kind of like our surface level thinking. Those are the like go-to thoughts, the stories that we've kind of taken on from our family. And that's where we feel chaotic, right? When you think of like an ocean. But when you go deeper, when you go lower into the ocean, what happens? It calms down, right? Like as you go deeper in the ocean, it settles. That's your consciousness. That's the level of change that we're looking at. So this is why when I say we want to change our thinking in order to change our feelings and our results and all of that, it can't be based on affirmations and just, I am amazing, everything is positive. Like that is not what I teach ever. You have to believe what it is that you're wanting to make the change of. And in order to do that, you need to have some conscious awareness of it, which is exactly what you did at the start of this. You took the time to just write out what was coming up. When you can listen to yourself, that is your wisdom. And when you're able to see that, like so often I will write things out and I'm like, oh my God, where did that come from? That thought is a crazy thought. I mean, there are crazy thoughts that I'm quite aware of, and then there are crazy thoughts that I am not aware of, and those are the crazy thoughts that we have to make sure that we're looking at and really questioning, because it's so easy to take on the baggage of others, like our family, right? Our teachers, like people who have made impacts in our life have taught us certain stories and have taught us to be a certain way. Usually that way is to be a good girl. But what is a good girl? I mean, think about this. It's so fascinating. Even nowadays, right? I think about like when we look at young girls and we're like, okay, show us your pretty smile. Like, what? No. Or when people will look to say like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I think that is amazing. But I think more importantly, it's when we tell ourselves, I'm so proud of myself. It is never somebody else that has us feeling a certain way, right? That gives our power out. It's us feeling a certain way about ourselves. And the activity that you did at the start of this call is exactly how you repeat and practice and go over and over and over how it is that you want to feel each day. And if you don't believe me, because I know they're like, Some of y'all might be saying, like, no, but you don't know my boss, or you don't know my partner, and you don't know my whatever. Stop. And I want you to think about how many times somebody maybe says a nice compliment to you and you don't accept it. Oh, they're just being nice. Oh, you're just saying that, right? We deflect it. So just see evidence, right? We want to make cracks in some of this thinking that no longer serves us. So when we're able to see evidence of something other than the story, then we can start to question it. We can start to untangle it. I almost think like when I'm working with clients, it's like a ball of yarn, right? It's like so tightly wound and it feels like it's so true because it has been a thought that we've thought over and over and over and probably has been reinforced by others. And so our brain doesn't like to be wrong. When we start to question it and we start to think that there could be other possibilities, that's when we get in that discomfort. And that's when our brain wants to shut it down. Like, no, 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 you shouldn't go for that change. It's fascinating. I was recently coaching someone. She received a promotion, totally deserved it. And yet her brain was like, I'm sure that person, who hired me probably doesn't think I'm ready. I'm like, why wouldn't they think you're ready? They hired you, right? Our brain tells us crazy things. It's because internally there's part of us that thinks that. So this is super important when you're looking at your schedule, okay? Because when you're telling yourself stories like the day controls me, I have no time, right? Then we're always reacting. And what I want you to consider it is your ability to respond, right? Your responsibility is setting your calendar. That is your ability to respond to what is important, to decide what is important, to prioritize what is important. And one simple little exercise that you could use is like this daily anchoring method. And I love this name, an anchor method, because it brings me back to the ocean, right? And it just reminds us that the waves are not always the full picture of the ocean. The waves are just what's crashing on the above, on the outside, on the external. What's deep inside is where the calm, where the power all resides. So choose one of these each morning, and I'm going to include notes. So when you get the replay, you'll also have notes to go with it. I want you to choose one thing each morning that guides your day. So it could be one priority. I started with that earlier, right? What is one thing that you want to accomplish by the end of the day? One priority. Or what is one boundary that you are going to uphold, maybe even just set throughout the day? And remember, a boundary is not like punishment to the other person. It's protection for yourself. And oftentimes, you don't even have to tell the other person about the boundary. It is just you knowing, if this happens, I will do this, or I will not allow this to happen. I will do this instead. It is your internal knowing of what that boundary is. And I think this should be maybe even another class down the road, or maybe a podcast if you guys are into it, because I do think boundaries can be so important for all of us to be comfortable, and or maybe not even comfortable, but just knowing that it is something that's okay. We have permission to set boundaries. In fact, boundaries, my girl Robin from Peloton says, are standards. So we set standards for ourselves. And when we set standards for ourselves, guess what? That allows everybody else to start believing that they too can set standards for themselves. So think about the change that we're able to make. And I'm just going to take a little turn here. It's not on the notes, but I want you to think about sometimes the problems with boundaries that we feel setting it is because of the story that we're telling about the other person, like how they will be so upset, how they will whatever. Question that. We don't know. A lot of times we're making up these stories about people that we are not really quite sure that that's actually the truth. So concentrate on like what it is internally that you want to change. And then maybe the one thing that you're anchoring in on is the one feeling that you want to lead with for the day. And with doing that, you can simply just go back to what we started with, take your 3 deep breaths, take a moment to really visualize what is it that you want to feel. Feel it, pay attention to it, and then notice it throughout the day where you can find that same feeling. Here's what I find when we don't set intentions for the day, or if we think today is just going to be crazy, it's just going to be, right? Whatever it is, I got so much to do. It's going to be so busy. Usually comes true, right? Like, usually those are the days. So, when we can take a moment and again, neuroplasticity, change the way we're thinking, rewire our thoughts, and be intentional with thinking, you know what? Today's going to be a really good day. You know what? I am so grateful because today I'm very curious how it's going to delight me. I started shifting that. Our coach has us looking at, like, oh, what the miracle is going to be today. I wonder how the day is going to delight me. And I'll tell you what, when you ask your brain a question and put it on a little mission, it's going to find the different miracles. It's going to find the delightful things in life. You have to be the executor. You have to use the executive part of your brain in order to make the changes. So often, so many people are just walking around in this unconscious state of thinking that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's not true. When we can regulate our nervous system, we can reset our frequency, we can reset our intentions, we will have a different outcome. And that is what I want for so many of you. I want you to be able to set the intention that you want and create the life that you want. And if you're hearing Tucker, must be Amazon coming. Set the intention for craziness. That's the other part of the Burke household. Oh, let me just tell you guys a funny story, speaking of the Burke household, and I'm going to come back to this, but you might get a kick out of it. It gives you a good visual of what this house really can be some days. So the other day, I was setting my intention. See, it actually does make sense here. I know it seems like it's a little off, left field or whatever they say, but I was up here doing my morning routine, setting my intention, doing my meditation, thinking I am the light, I am the vessel, I am here to help people, whatever it was, right? I'm up here meditating with my Kathy Heller glass, and then I go downstairs and I'm feeling like zen and my nervous system. And I go downstairs and Mark is working out to, I think it's Rage Against the Machine. It's like, F you, I won't do what you tell me. F you, I won't do what you tell me. Like, whoa, I guess there's a little zen in the Burke household. Yin and yang maybe is what it's more like called. So again, it's not the other people that make us feel this way. I can just continue to believe I am the light, I am the vessel, but it does make me laugh. Okay, let's continue on here. I want to talk now about when your energy is scattered. That's when our habits collapse, right? And I think so often people will tell me, I was just having this conversation actually with somebody at work about how, like, oh, I'm so inconsistent with Peloton because I was talking about how, you guys, I am on like day 2,456, I think, of something Peloton. And again, that does not mean it's always like the bike or a workout. It could be a meditation, but I just need it for my own sanity. And I feel like for the safety of others around me. I remember I used to have a guy I worked with when I was training for half marathons, and he would be like, "You didn't get your run in today." And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's so true. You see the memes, you know what I'm talking about. But here's the truth. Our habits fall apart not because we're not motivated. It's because our energy is scattered. And why is our energy scattered? Because we're trying to do for everybody else and we haven't set those priorities. So if you can hear a theme here, right? If you only take one thing away from this, I want you to think about what is a priority for you. And that can be a tough question. Like sometimes you might even be saying, like, I don't have time for this. She wants me to sit here and think about what's important to me. I've got to take care of the kids and I've got to take care of work and I've got to take care of, like, I get it. I get it. Maybe not the kids. I don't have kids, but I take care of Tucker. I'm a little bit crazy about that. But I get the idea of work. I get the idea of trying to do for everyone else. And I'm telling you, this work will benefit them too. I promise you. Promise you. Do it for yourself. That's when you will see so many changes for others. Because when your energy is grounded, your habits feel easy. Oh, my goodness. See, this really like hits home. I want this so bad for so many women. Because we know when we're doing things that we love, we're in flow, right? We're able to get more done. We're able to just feel like time is flying by, right? Like think about that. Think about when you're energized and things light you up and time just flies by. It's when we're doing things like, sitting in traffic, telling ourselves that, these people are idiots. Maybe I just say that. Sorry. Sometimes on the road, I am my most aggressive. But the truth, that's still the truth, right? Like we know there are things that jazz us up and light us up. And that's when time seems to fly. It doesn't fly when we're doing things that we don't love. Now, I am not then saying, okay, let's just stop doing things that we don't love. Like, hey, I don't feel like going to work. So, like, I want to be lit up. I'm not saying that. There are days when we go to work, even if we don't want to go to work, right? Because there's a greater reason why we're doing it. We want to have a paycheck. We want to be able to, like, pay for food or roofs over our head or whatever it is. So, there are times when we do things that we don't necessarily want to. What I'm talking about are the deeper things. The things where you're people pleasing, where you're not showing up in a way that you want to, where you haven't taken the time to even think about what you want. That is the difference. So yeah, there are for sure things that don't want to do. I will even tell you, I do not always feel like doing Peloton. Every morning, I have to tell myself on purpose, you know that you're going to feel so much better. Just get downstairs. Just do a little bit. Just have some movement. Because you guys, you know why? Movement helps to also change the energy, the breath work, the deep breathing. Sometimes we don't even take time to do that because we just breathe from like here, right? Or like in our chest. Well, maybe not always panting, but you get the idea, right? We don't take a moment to really breathe deeply all the way into your stomach, all the way up through your spine, all the way into your heart, into your throat, up, like even thinking about it coming out and your energy, like releasing. That resets the nervous system. That allows us to not feel so overwhelmed. That allows us to feel grounded in the energy and then be able to decide what it is that we want to do. So you can just take 60 seconds, any point in the day when you're feeling stressed and you're feeling overwhelmed, and you can just ask yourself, what is draining me right now? What is one small shift that would help? And what emotion do I want to trust myself to feel today? Very, very easy. Very, very easy. Okay. I have done a lot of chatting here. So I am going to open it up to any questions. And then what I want to do is make sure that I tell you. In fact, let's do this in case people have to jump or if you want to just get off the replay. I want to tell you about a special announcement because I have a new program that I am offering. It is an 8-week container, and I am so excited because it is going to be one-on-one private coaching every other week. Here's the deal. At the end of the 8 weeks, I want you to feel more calm. I want you to feel like you have greater clarity, greater self-trust, greater knowing of what it is that you want for 2026. So we're going to start December 1st, and it's going to run until the end of January. And we will come together also as a community. Like, I'm so excited. I've never done anything like it. So it is a beta program, and it's going to be an opportunity for us to come together as a community to really network. I love connecting people. I love when I have somebody that I know over here that maybe needs help over here, and we can connect them together. And I feel like women nowadays, especially, need to have a place where we can kind of come together and talk about, like, what is going on? What are we struggling with? How can I help you? What are the challenges? How can we change our thinking? How can we help our nervous system? How can we be examples to others of what might be possible? How can we have generational change all around us? Literally doing this work, again, thinking about the ocean, it is a ripple effect. When you do it on yourself, it goes out to others. So if you are watching this on replay or if you're here, I have a special code. It is going to be for $111 off of the beta price. So I have a beta pricing that's reduced, and I'm going to have a discount code for you. And I want to make sure I give you the right code. It is when you go in for the coupon code, it will be SIP111 because this was our Sip and Saturday. So SIP111. And you have two options. So it's either 1888 is the beta price and then the 111 off if you want to pay in full, or $9.99 for two payments and you get the 111 off. So discounted beta pricing with the coupon code. You can either go to michelleburkecoaching.com/thrive full if you want to do the full pay, or michelleburkecoaching.com/thrive plan if you want to do the plan option. It's going to be so much fun, you guys. It's going to also, it's just going to be a place for you to gain clarity, to get your schedule together, to be able to have like performance and a fresh start as you go into the new year. Like, let's not wait till January. Let's get started now. So you have like support during the holidays to help set the boundaries. I joke and I always say that Father Brian said his family put the fun in dysfunctional. I think a lot of us can probably relate. So during the holidays, that seems to be like even greater, right? Let's take this time to do the work and think about like, what could those conversations be if you're showing up at some of these family parties and they're like, wow, you look different. What's going on? It's so much fun. Even if they don't notice that you look different, you're going to know that you feel different. And that, my friend, is the magic. That is the magic. So michelleburkecoaching.com/thrive full, michelleburkecoaching.com/thrive plan. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We'll answer any questions. And again, if you're watching this on replay, please feel free to just reply back if you have any questions. This has been so much fun. I would, let's do it again. Watch for the messages because I think we're going to do this again. So much fun. Okay, everybody, have a great day. I'm going to stop this here and we'll take any questions. Did you know you can take this work to a deeper level with me one-on-one? Go to michelleburkecoaching.com and click on Get Started to begin.